Mr. Speaker. As the House considers funding $831 billion to the Department of Defense for the funding of our great men and women in our military to defend our nation and our nation's interest, it's important to talk about the foreign aid that we are funding to foreign countries. The American people are $37 trillion in debt. $37 trillion in debt. The debt keeps rising, and the interest on our debt is at $1 trillion now per year. $1 trillion. My amendment would strike $500 million of military assistance to Taiwan. This is an increase of $100 million from fiscal year 2025 and will be used to provide a wide variety of assistance, including planes, drones, missile defense, munitions, and more. Listen to this, as we're giving an extra $100 million, making it $500 million in this Department of Defense appropriations bill, the entire defense budget of Taiwan is less than $20 billion. Our defense budget is $831 billion. It wouldn't be so high if we weren't giving foreign aid. We've given Taiwan over $2 billion in funding and munitions over the past 2 years. We've already given them $2 billion, but now we're giving them another $500 billion. Increasing foreign aid to Taiwan will only increase their reliance on the United States. And the United States should be serving the American people and stop enslaving the American people in massive debt that drives the inflation that is causing Americans to suffer, that is causing Americans to not be able to afford everyday life. The United States is $37 trillion in debt, and we can't even hardly afford our own massive military budget, let alone funding the significant portions of other countries, of foreign countries, and foreign nations, and foreign people that do not pay taxes here in America. We have so many of our own domestic problems here at home and should not be funding foreign countries, foreign aids, and quite frankly, instigating World War III with China. Before we start worrying about Taiwan's borders or Ukraine's borders or any other country's borders, we should be focusing on the continued security of our own border and deporting the criminals and terrorists and millions of people that invaded our country and are somewhere within our country after they invaded our own borders. Mr. Speaker, I reserve.
Gentlelady reserves. For what purposes the gentleman from California seek recognition?
I rise in opposition to the gentlelady's amendment.
Gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
I greatly admire the gentlelady from Georgia's passion for ensuring support for our overseas allies, our wise use of taxpayers' dollars, but support for Taiwan must be part of that equation. Just yesterday, the Trump administration released a statement of administration policy for the defensive appropriation bill, very supportive of the bill we produced. One of the very few areas the administration expressed any slight disagreement with our bill was wanting more money for Taiwan. The administration has proposed including $1 billion, while this bill provides $500 million. Now, had OMB delivered budget materials to us in time for consideration, we would have certainly taken a look at providing what they requested, but that wasn't the case. Supporting Taiwan in the face of unrelenting Chinese aggression is absolutely in the vital interests of the United States. I want to point out that Taiwan makes 90% of the world's chips and close to 100% of the highly needed chips for artificial intelligence and high technical devices. The funding will go a long way to make sure that Taiwan has the resources necessary to help prevent a Chinese invasion. That's the position of the Trump administration, and that's the position of this bill. With that, I urge a no vote on the amendment and reserve the balance of my time. And I yield 2 minutes to the ranking member, the gentlelady from Minnesota.
Gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I am very, very proud of my vote to vote against the President's big tax package, which added $3.4 trillion debt to our national debt over the next 10 years. But right now I'm rising in opposition to this amendment. America's strength around the world does not only stem from our military power, but our network of alliances in Europe and the Pacific that allow us to project power. Our allies support us, and we support them. That means when our allies are threatened, the United States needs to be with them. That's exactly what we're doing in Ukraine, helping a sovereign nation defend itself against, defend its democracy from Russian aggression. A similar situation could easily occur in the Pacific, where Taiwan is threatened by the People's Republic of China. China has a recent history of seizing territory. Look at the invasion of Tibet in the 1950s. They've suppressed democracy in Hong Kong. And when the Chinese president speaks of reunification of Taiwan, we should believe that he will attempt it. We cannot allow that to happen. China may not stop with Taiwan. If Taiwan falls, other Pacific Island nations like the Philippines would be threatened. And America is not alone in these concerns. Japan, South Korea, Australia, New Zealand are deeply concerned about the future of Taiwan's democracy. And that's why they're working with us to deter China and to prevent an invasion of Taiwan from happening. The $500 million in this bill will assist Taiwan in preparing their military, increasing their readiness and their deterrence capabilities. So I support the inclusion of the funds in this bill, and I strongly oppose this amendment. I ask my colleagues to do the same, and I yield back.
Gentlelady yields. The gentlewoman from Georgia is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The best way to compete with China is have a strong American economy. We shouldn't be having to fund the protection of a foreign country that is producing over 90% of our chips when we should be producing those chips right here at home. Currently, many of our rare earth minerals are tied up on federal lands, and this is a problem that is tying up the production of chips here in America. You see, America should be building our strength and resilience. Instead of an additional $500 million being given to Taiwan for their defense budget, we should be investing that $500 million into America's ability to produce chips, so that we don't have to be the world's police that go defend all these other foreign countries from China's aggression. The best way to beat China is with a strong America. But decades of America-last policies where our manufacturing jobs were sent overseas and sent to China is what made China strong. America created that problem. And America is continuing to create that problem by dependence on foreign countries for our own manufacturing. This is why rural America has been crumbling for decades, because of the economic loss of their own small towns. In America today, the cost of college tuition has increased by over 180%. That means it's unaffordable for many students, and they're laden with student loan debt. According to American Compass, in 1985, 40 weeks of a typical worker's income could provide the middle-class essentials for a family of 4. But now, this requires over 62 weeks of income, exceeding the 52 weeks in a year. Life is unaffordable for Americans, Mr. Speaker. We're $37 trillion in debt. I urge my colleagues to vote for my amendment, and I yield.
Gentlelady yields. Gentleman from California.
Yield.
Gentleman yields. Question is on the